We are going to be talking about driving organic growth and algorithmic social media, which I don't know if is an actual term, but I kind of just used it because I feel like it describes how social media is changing today and how feeds are changing and how it's changing from you follow people and you see their content, you follow ideas and interests and you see the best content. And I started to blow up on TikTok making like satire, sketch comedy videos on TikTok. It was rewarding enough for me to keep doing it. And eventually I think I put my phone away and I had like 100,000 notifications and 10,000 new followers, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Over time, I started to like cultivate this community of people that were like resonating with the content. Redpoint was starting to build out their content strategy, and they were like, hey, you work for a tech company, you sort of understand content, will you come on board? This would have never happened 5 years ago, even 3 years ago. But the ability to just like reach a huge mass of people on social media is different today than it's ever been and has really like outsized ROI if done right. Competition is becoming way more of a factor. Obviously, there's privacy things that have happened with user data that have made paid way less effective. So naturally, organic becomes more important. You have a rising digital first generation of not just like Gen Z, what the fuck are they doing? But no, these are becoming like decision makers at companies that are digital first, that consume their content through their phones, that would rather watch YouTube than traditional media, that would rather spend time on TikTok than watch Netflix or whatever. And then the algorithmic discovery, which I think this part doesn't get talked about enough. This is kind of what I alluded to in the story of me getting hired, but like this ability to reach masses of people with an iPhone in your bedroom and recording and zero professional equipment, zero professional scripters or writers. Like this is a really big deal. And the tool set to enable these creators and the people that are identifying as creators is just getting more and more and more over time. 10 years ago, social media was like a place where you promote stuff. You promote how cool your life is. You promote how hot your partner is. You promote how fun your vacation is, how big your boat is, whatever. That's changed, I think, pretty significantly. In a lot of ways for the worst in social media in general, but in this one particular way for the better, in that I think that's starting to get moved and replaced with the authenticity, the behind the scenes, the show me how you can make something that literally couldn't be faked if you tried, and then I'll believe you. Because otherwise, I don't believe it. I'm not buying it. Show me something with receipts of what you're doing. And you're seeing it from like influencers to musicians doing it to dancers to brands, most relevantly for today. No more highly produced perfect content, which is better for the common person, worse for the whatever traditional media agencies of the world, but who cares about them? And then consistency, the volume does matter, and deep appeal to a niche. Like you can no longer be just broadly appealing to a bunch of people. You got to find that segment that's going to super resonate with your stuff, share your content, and that's really I think the path to virality. Video just has such amazing engagement, and with TikTok emerging, and then of course all the other social media companies starting to just replicate their feature set and do the same thing that TikTok is doing, it might help to just outline the landscape of what short form video content looks like. So if you're thinking like, well, I want to make content, or I'm a little bit curious about this, but like, what would I even do? I bet you within this room, we could find examples within each of your businesses of like, how can I educate? And I bring up education, especially with respect to climate. Travis and I were talking earlier about the importance of education and like, where people are on the maturity curve with some of the products and services that you're selling. It might be that you need to start at the level of like, well, what does being carbon neutral even mean? The average person might not know that. And then all the way to, okay, well, how can my product actually help make your life easier? Entertainment is an obvious one, but potentially the hardest to pull off. That's being funny or, I don't know, polarizing sometimes on social media. A lot of people might prefer a medium where they get to have more nuanced conversations and deeper conversations in the form of podcasts and things like that, but that can still be repurposed for short form. We do that all the time with our podcast, and it's been huge for listenership. Whenever we have like a viral spike in one of our videos, the long form episode tends to do better. And then this is a really cool one that I think I'm starting to see more and more of, which is building in public. It's kind of like the buzz term for it in the creator world, but it's basically taking back to the authenticity thing. It's like taking the process of what's going on behind the scenes and showing your community that. And that really humanizes the business. I was in Santa Monica the other day and I walked by the store, and I swear I got this like feeling like I was seeing the set of Friends or How I Met Your Mother or something. Like I was seeing something that I had seen on TV, even though I had just like watched a few TikToks of it. Like you create this celebrity when you show people what's going on behind the scenes. And I think it really humanizes your business. And that's, again, kind of what this is all about. It's humanizing and creating more of an emotional connection. Ultimately, your goal is to create content that's going to make someone look at it and say, oh my God, this thing was meant for me. I am so like moved by this. I want to share it with all the people that I think need to see this. And to do that, it's a little bit counterintuitive. I use this example of like, let's say you're Indeed or like a recruitment software or something, and you want to put out content about the 5 ways to land your next job. Well, to reach the most amount of people, you might just keep it 5 ways to land your next job. But as you narrow in on the people that you actually appeal to, you actually increase your chances of going viral, which that's the counterintuitive part. You're appealing to way less people, but you have the opportunity to appeal to them deeper because it's like, oh, now he's talking about land a PM job, and they used an acronym that only PMs would understand, so they really understand me. And so like you're narrowing the number of people you appeal to, but you're increasing your chances of someone looking at this thing and being like, oh my God, this is me. Which that's probably a moment we can all share. LinkedIn right now is suffering from a lack of inventory. Like no one posts good content there. So when you do post good content there, it goes crazy viral because they've updated their tech to make like the algorithm show more people stuff, but still they haven't gotten the like creators at a critical mass where there's good content flow. So you have the opportunity there. So I think the game is when people are like, oh, what should we do? Should we be on TikTok? Should we be on Instagram? Like that's not really the right question. It's like, what skills do you have? Do you have someone who can write really well? Do you have someone who can make funny jokes? Do you have someone that can ask really good questions and has an amazing network? Likely a lot of people have some sort of like creative skill that can be translated to one of these platforms. And that's where I think the best place to start is. The last thing I wanted to share today is a lot of the pushback I get from B2B companies in our portfolio when they reach out and they're like, hey, you guys are on TikTok. Should we be on TikTok? We don't want to be on TikTok because only D2C brands have been on TikTok. So Urvashi and I, who's on our early team, have been meeting with B2B companies that have used social media and just getting their perspective. Like, why are you guys doing this? Why are you investing time in this? Why are you hiring a social media person to like go make videos about your product? No one's like going to your enterprise sales team as a result of a video they saw, or are they? Like, those are the questions we're asking. And this is a conversation we had with Notion, and they're just crushing it. Like they have 400,000 followers on Twitter, super actively engaged community that they foster, videos going viral about features. They've got like this huge user base that's listening, and they're a top-down selling motion for the most part. Obviously, they appeal to the prosumer as well, but like a big part of their strategy is top-down selling. And their whole thing was like, our job as the social team is not to make a sale. Like, and when we recognize that, we're not going to get in front of the VP of whatever who's making that buying decision for a $500,000 ACV contract. But if that person's entire team has had positive experiences with Notion, and now we've built a level of trust with Notion through these platforms, we're in a much better position once we get to make that sale. And the seller's job is to make the sale, and our job is to build the trust ahead of time. And that's kind of what we're doing at Redpoint as well. Brand is a sum of your experiences that you create with your consumers, with your people, your constituents, the people you want to hire, the people that want to buy your product. And algorithmic social media is like the ultimate way to have a ton more positive experiences with people for not a ton of investment if you can find the right people and you can find the right strategy.